Harlem has more vermin scurrying through its subway stations than any other neighborhood in the 5 boroughs, new data shows. 2 subway stations in the neighborhood claimed the top 2 spots for rat sightings on a popular app over the last 30 days. The 116th Street station, which services the 2 and 3 lines, was dubbed the rattiest of all Big Apple transit hubs for the month of January, according to the app Transit. The navigation app relies on self-reported data, making for the only existing information trove of underground rat sightings. Rats are reported on 42% of subway trips, according to the data. Last month, 100% of tipsters reported they had spotted between 1 and 2 rodents as they waited at the 116th Street platform. None of the submissions reported seeing 0 rats last month. That's not surprising. We've always had them, said Freddy Bordes, who has used the subway station just about 5 days a week for the last 10 years. There's trash everywhere. People are always jumping the turnstiles. It's neglected, he said, pointing to a plastic bag packed with rotting fruit that was left on the bench. For Bordes said he's only shocked that there aren't even more reported rat sightings. The Harlem resident estimates he sees as many as 5 rats when he heads underground. Melissa Kerman, 27, agreed, saying she sees at least 1 rat each time she visits the station. If you look long enough, you'll see one, Melissa Kerman, 27, told the Post just moments before one of the critters scurried across the tracks. Kerman, who works for Democracy Prep near the station, was surprised that 116th Street station took home the top spot. The 125th Street hub, which services the 4, 5, and 6 lines, is much worse, she claimed. That spot, located less than a mile away, took named the second rattiest Big Apple subway station. Although it had fewer user reports than 116th Street, tipsters see more rats on average. While 54% of people reported seeing 1 or 2 rats, 29% saw so many. Just 17% reported rat-free visits to the station. The high presence of rats at both Harlem stations is an indictment of how little the city cares for the neighborhood, according to Tandy Wilson. Sanitation doesn't take care of Harlem at all, said Wilson, 35, adding that she spots 3 rats on average at the stations. Wilson, who was born and raised in Harlem, claimed the conditions have only deteriorated over the decades, even in spite of city-led initiatives to clean up the long-neglected neighborhood. Harlem is one of just 4 to have designated rat mitigation zones, an effort that was launched nearly 2 years ago to annihilate the vermin. The neighborhood was given dozens of staff members tasked with exterminating and a trove of equipment to decrease rat populations, like traps, fumigation machines, and rat slabs, which harden the earth to prevent burrowing. None of the mitigation efforts extend to the subways, however. The transit systems are not part of the city domain, officials emphasized. The city only tracks rat sightings above ground, and like transit, relies on self-reported data. Just about 1,311 calls were made in January for vermin reports, most of which came out of Brooklyn. For individual neighborhoods, however, Harlem came out on top for most sightings. The MTA, which oversees the subways, did not immediately respond to the Post question about its own rat mitigation efforts.